With us now on the set of Live It Up is Richie Cannata. Welcome, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. When you have a reputation and your name's Richie Cannata, you don't need much more introduction. But you are a master saxophonist. Let's talk about your personal journey in music first.
Well, it's my personal journey is the God-given talent that I had at 4 years old, and I pursued it, and I had great parents who supported me. And I've often used this quote: "I've never really had a job. I've always made music," and that's always come through playing the saxophone. And my discography speaks for itself. And the years that I've been doing this, and the world tours and the records, have brought a lot of smiles to a lot of people's faces. So I'm pretty happy and proud about that.
And who do you admire? What other players? Because like you said, you've been playing for as long as you can, remember even talking possibly. When you listen to music, what type of genre do you personally like?
I listen to all types of music, and I'm not sure when this is going to be aired, but I have to give, who do I listen to and like is David Bowie.
Okay. Oh,
and
God rest.
on this very blessed day that he's passed, and with due respect to him and what he's done for the music industry, there are very few artists like Billy, like David Bowie, like Springsteen, who have been doing it for 40 years, the Beatles longer than that. And I have to give total respect for that, because to do anything that long takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to pursue, to stay successful, to stay in the public eye, to reinvent yourself, to be able to turn other generations on to your music. And I think David Bowie was that type of person, as well as Billy has been that type of person.
Do you ever sleep with your sax?
Pretty close.
Okay.
It travels with me on a plane. It never goes below. It always has either a seat or a space up on top. In a hotel room, it does sleep in the room with me in a chair. So the saxophone that you have heard on all the records is the one that I'll play tonight.
Beautiful. And how about practicing? I mean, when you play, do you still, do you move your fingers? How do you keep your fingers nimble so that you can keep it rolling?
Being a saxophone player, there's a lot of things that are that add up to playing the saxophone. One is the embouchure, which is this part. Then there's the fingers and the dexterity and the solar plexus. So there's a lot of physical things. And like a ball player, you just can't sit on a bench and wait to be called to get up and bat. You've got to be ready. So I practice all the time. I practiced last night. I have a gig tonight. I'll practice tomorrow. So it's being ready to perform that instrument. It's not just easy just to pick it up and play.
And just like a ball player, there's certain statistics, right? So at what point in your career did you realize that your stats were adding up? That you weren't just like the kid that was 4 that played sax and you were kind of good at it, but that you were like a different type of sax player?
They all added up to this point in having this interview today. When I first got my first gig and then I had 2 that month, it was a big deal to have 2 gigs, and someone actually paid me. I probably was 13 years old, to the point where, when I joined Billy Joel. And all of a sudden, we're traveling around the world and playing with the Beach Boys and artists like that all of a sudden. So when did it happen? It's happening right now. And it's going to happen again, and here's the greatest plug in the world.
Yes.
On January 23rd at the Space, when we're playing together as the original Billy Joel band is getting back together. And it's probably one of the most important gigs I've done in my career, because I've had a moment in my life where I had a couple of bumps in the road, physically and health-wise, and I'm feeling 100%, and I'm getting back together with Liberty DeVito and Russell Javers and a tremendous band, and we're going to play this music again.
Lords of 52nd Street.
That's right.
So beautiful. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, which is where the Checker Dome and the arena and
I played the Checker Dome.
Yes, you did, and I was there. So I wanted.
Oh, I remember you were clapping.
That was me.
Right? You were clapping.
I was like rocking out to your sax, But I have had the good fortune to interview Liberty DeVito, which has been wonderful. I've wanted to meet you for so long, and I'm so glad that you're here. You did mention that you had some health issues, so you were going to go on tour with this group last year,
yeah.
right? But you overcame cancer.
Yep.
And so what do you attribute that success? Was it your attitude, your mental attitude of not quitting? What made you decide to pick up your sax and just keep playing?
Emotional, a very emotional answer to that. It was, there is God, there is a higher power, and there's my wife. And both of them said, you're not going to die.
So you decided not to.
So I decided that I wasn't going to, and my family. and I had full support from them. And it starts when you're diagnosed with a disease as cancer, and when you hear the cancer word, you figure you're
Lights
done.
out, right?
You're done.
Done.
And 25 years ago, what I got was lymphoma, and 25 years ago, that would have probably been a death sentence. But through the medical technology and the advancement of what they can do with medicines and therapy, I beat this disease. So I'm cancer-free, not in remission, but totally cured. And how did I get through it? Music was a big part of it.
Okay.
Music was a big part of it because I wanted to play again, because I know nothing else but music, and I know nothing else but playing the saxophone. And at LIJ, where I stayed, the nurses, the doctors were absolutely fantastic, and I did from breath to breath. And I, in my very dogmatic attitude, did not want to die from this disease. We're all going to die someday.
Yeah.
We're all going to die. That's inevitable. But I didn't want to die from this disease. I really, really didn't. And I know a lot of people say it, but I did the walk. I didn't want to die. So I paid attention. My wife made me breathe every day. I was there for 6 months. And I'm here having this interview today. And on the 23rd, we're going to make this music again. And we're also playing in a city on the 20th of February at the Cutting Room.
Yeah.
So we got like 5 or 6 gigs together, and this wasn't supposed to happen.
Well, I think there's going to be more than 5 or 6 gigs. I just have this like little feeling, like note by note, note by note, that people aren't going to allow you to only play 6 gigs. I think it's going to be a long time.
We haven't really officially done one. We got inducted into the Hall of Fame last year, and they asked us to play one song, and I said, well, we'll have time for you to play one song. We ended up playing, I believe, 4 songs. And Ron Delsner got inducted that night, as well as Clive Davis, and they all came to us about this. This has got to be out there. People have got to see this. So when Ron Delsner tells you that, you go, oh, maybe he's seeing something.
He might know
a little bit,
something,
right? So we've decided to do this, and it's been the reaction has been fantastic. So we're ready to go out there, and you're going to hear this music. We've had a rehearsal or two, and it's been absolutely fantastic.
You kind of radiate goodness.
I hope so.
You do. Like, from all of those years of performing and bringing so much joy to people, sharing your gift like you have, not willing to go under, just honoring the music as you have done and the fans. It's really so wonderful.
If you think about it, we're messengers, as you are. You're going to bring smiles to people's faces. We've made this music. We have been on over 100 million records sold together. There's a reason why we're here. There really is a reason. And I think there was a reason for me to be diagnosed what I was diagnosed with, so I can say it again with a little bit more strength, and to go out there and play it again with a little bit more passion, if that's even possible. Because the first time when I was in my 20s and played this music, there was a lot of passion, but now it's even more. And with Liberty and Russell and Dave Clark is our principal Billy Joel piano player, singer, and the rest of the band,
it's good stuff.
I couldn't be more blessed.
Well, I will be there, and I will tell you that at every concert, I already felt like I was on stage performing with you, because I would, as everybody does that loves all of the music, you sing along. You are part of the performance.
What is your favorite song? Do you have a favorite Billy song?
Oh my gosh, they're all
wonderful. Am I putting you on the spot?
You are putting me on the spot. The interviewer is now the interviewee.
My favorite is New York State of Mind. What's yours?
Okay. Yes, New York State of Mind.
I knew it was.
He's prompting me, but of course, New York State of Mind.
I knew it was.
I will tell you, I grew up in St. Louis, but I do love New York State of Mind. And what I was going to ask you, but you can go ahead and tell me what you were going to say, but the phraseology of your music when you're playing the sax. Your sax sings, so I wanted to just talk about that. But go ahead, what were you going to say about New York State of Mind?
It does sing through this music with Billy. I've played on a lot of other records with a lot of other people, but for Billy's music, he's very lyrical. He writes great lyrics, he writes great melodies, and he gave me the spot. If you notice in all these big records, there's hardly any guitar solos. They're all saxophone segments. And what I did was, and I learned with Billy, is to continue this great lyrical thing that he was singing, to add, I could do Charlie Parker solos and John Coltrane solos and lose a lot of the audience. But I incorporated what Billy was writing into my style of playing and sound into the music, which was a great gap. As Liberty played his drums, as Doug played his bass, and Doug has been gone now almost 20 years. Actually, it is 20 years. But when we made those records with Russell and Doug and Liberty, it was the continuation, filling in those spots that Billy needed us to fill in. So for me, lyrically, the saxophone just fit in perfectly.
I sing your parts too, just
There
to
you
let you
go.
know. I do. You sing the sax. I told Liberty I sing his parts too. You know.
There was one song, Still Rock and Roll, which I think it was a #1 record. I'm not sure. Was it a
If
#1
not, we're
record?
claiming it so now,
Okay.
right?
And before my sax solo, he says to me, he said, Rico, play something that someone's going to remember in 20 years. Now I'm 20-something years old. I'm going, what are you talking about? 20 years, and 20 minutes. And I thought about it for a minute, and I said, okay. And I think it was one take that I did it, and that's the solo that's on the record.
It's beautiful.
You know, so, and I thank Billy for that, and I thank Billy for writing this great music, and I thank him for letting me be part of this great, great time of our lives.
And we all, speaking from all of your fans, we thank you
Oh,
for
that's
picking
awesome.
up that sax at the age of 4 and for all that you've
Yeah.
done for us. So thank you so much, Richie.
Thank you, and you're
It's a
doing
pleasure.
great justice here as well.
Thank you so much. All right, we're here. Live it up with Richie Cannata. We hope that you enjoyed this nice visit, and please check them out. Thanks for watching.